Welcome back. So today we're diving straight into a brand new explainer, and we're taking on literally the biggest mystery in tech right now, predicting the AI boom. I mean, how do we even begin to make sense of the billions of dollars just flooding into artificial intelligence? Well, to figure out exactly where we're going, we really have to look back at where we've been. And to do that, we are going to use the historical blueprint of cloud computing as our treasure map.
Because when you get right down to it, the fundamental question driving all these massive AI investments really just boils down to one thing. Is AI a winner-take-all market or a winner-take-many market? And man, that question creates some serious anxiety for builders and investors alike, right? But here is the secret. We actually already ran this exact experiment at a truly enormous global scale, literally just one technology cycle ago.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our agenda for today. 1. The AI market question. 2. A tale of wrong predictions. 3. 4 lessons from cloud. 4. Where the rhyme breaks. And finally, 5. The real AI winner.
Starting with Section 1, the AI market question. We'll see why the 2000s cloud era really is the absolute best map we have for the decade ahead.
Moving right along to Section 2, a tale of wrong predictions.
Actually, before we get a little too confident in our own AI forecasting, we really need to take a step back and see how exceptionally smart people have historically, completely failed to predict tech platform dynamics. Check this out. Back in 2007, when Amazon Web Services first hit the scene, the experts just kind of shrugged. They called it a low-margin commodity. Nothing special. But fast forward to 2014, and the air had flipped totally in the other direction. Suddenly, the panic was that AWS was going to eat the entire software stack and crush all these beautiful software businesses. The crazy thing? Both of those incredibly confident predictions were absolutely 100% dead wrong.
So, why were they so wrong? It all comes down to massive market expansion. The global cloud market hit roughly $400 billion in 2025, and get this, it's forecast to jump to nearly $778 billion by 2030. That is huge. Both sets of experts back then, they were treating the market like it was a fixed pie, and you just cannot reason about a market that is growing by an entire order of magnitude as if everyone is just fighting over a few leftover crumbs.
All right, Section 3, 4 lessons from cloud. Time to look at our historical blueprint. So now that we're sufficiently humbled by history, let's extract 4 direct rules from the cloud era that we can apply directly to AI today. Ready? 1. Oligopolies emerge. 2. Winners build on top. 3. Commodity is a trap word. And 4. Enterprise adoption lags. Make sure you keep these 4 right in your back pocket.
Okay, diving into Lesson 1, oligopolies emerge. Here's the thing about wildly capital-intensive platform markets. They don't just collapse into a monopoly. And they definitely don't stay some fragmented Wild West free-for-all. Cloud computing naturally settled into this really stable oligopoly, right? You had AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud gobbling up the lion's share. So whenever you hear people say that one single AI lab is just going to win the whole thing, or maybe that a dozen of them will split it perfectly evenly, historical precedent is screaming no. We should absolutely expect a 3 or 4 firm oligopoly. And that brings us right to Lesson 2. If we really want to understand the biggest winners in cloud, we have to understand cloud neutrality. That basically just means running a service identically across multiple distinct cloud providers, like AWS, Azure, Google, so you completely avoid vendor lock-in. Because think about it, hyperscalers build their entire business model on keeping you trapped inside their specific ecosystem. Neutrality is literally the one thing they structurally cannot offer you. And wow, that is exactly where a massive opportunity lies.
To put that into perspective, just look at Snowflake. By 2026, they reached a staggering $102 billion valuation. $102 billion. As a cloud-neutral data warehouse, they literally run on AWS infrastructure while directly competing with Amazon's own products. I mean, they basically out-Amazoned Amazon by offering that vital neutrality to enterprises who wanted to span multiple clouds. So the really profound takeaway here, AI labs are basically the new hyperscalers, which means the greatest AI winners might not actually be the labs themselves, but the neutral players building right on top of them.
Shifting gears to Lesson 3, commodity is a total trap word. Reselling compute used to look like a boring commodity. And today, running open source AI models on standard hardware, that looks like a commodity pass-through too. But it really isn't. Actually running these systems efficiently, that hides some deep, highly defensible expertise. So the next time someone dismisses a certain AI layer as just a commodity, you might want to look a little harder, because a super durable business is probably hiding right there in plain sight.
And finally, lesson 4, the shape of adoption. Early cloud reliance was driven purely by digital natives and scrappy startups. Like, at one point, a single messaging app made up 40% of Google Cloud's entire usage. Meanwhile, massive enterprises just kind of hung back in total skepticism. But then, right around 2014, this sudden inflection point hit. Almost overnight, enterprise adoption became basically mandatory. And you know what? This beautifully mirrors today's very skeptical enterprise AI adoption. The lag we're seeing, it's completely normal. But the break, when that break finally comes, it is going to be incredibly fast, and it is going to reprice absolutely everything.
All right, section 4, where the rhyme breaks. Let's look at the honest bear case.
Because guys, this is the Here Be Dragons part of our map. History rhymes, but analogy isn't destiny. AI actually diverges from the cloud precedent in 3 really major ways, and this forms a totally honest bear case. First off, staggering capital constraints. We are talking about energy and physical chips on a scale the cloud era literally never had to face. There's a real risk this massive build-out could just totally outrun actual revenue demand. Second, value accrual. Right now, it is an absolute open street fight between the chip makers, the AI labs, and the app developers. Nobody knows who keeps the margin. And third, neutrality is just way harder this time around. AI models are incredibly differentiated. They are absolutely not easily interchangeable like compute was. So while building the snowflake of AI sounds super compelling, it is absolutely not guaranteed.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, the real AI winner. So bringing it all together, what does this whole historical mirror actually mean for us navigating the wild AI market today? Honestly, it means we might have just been asking the wrong question all along. Our source material leaves us with this absolutely incredible framing. Stop asking who wins the whole thing and start asking who builds the neutral layer on top of whoever wins. Think about it. The entire cloud precedent practically proves that the largest value creation often comes from the folks building right on top of the giants. So, who is going to build that neutral layer for the AI era? Now that is the multi-billion-dollar question I'm going to leave you to ponder. Thanks so much for diving into this explainer with me today, and hey, keep asking the right questions.